Hallo und herzlich willkommen bei Whisky.de, dem Treffpunkt feiner Geister. Und ich bin heute im Herzen der Speyside und hinter mir ist BenRiach. Ja, BenRiach ist eine dieser mittelalten Brennereien. 1898 wurde sie gegründet. Und ja, die ältere Historie von BenRiach ist relativ tragisch, denn die Brennerei wurde öfters geschlossen, verkauft, wieder eröffnet, wieder geschlossen. Und ja, als letztes gehörte sie dann Chivers und wurde dann auch wieder geschlossen, aber glücklicherweise von Billy Walker als unabhängigen Schotten gekauft und wieder eröffnet 2004. 2015 hat dann Billy Walker BenRiach mit zwei anderen Brennereien an Brown-Forman verkauft, also ist jetzt BenRiach in einem großen Spirituosenkonzern zu Hause, und zwar bei Brown-Forman. Und vielleicht sieht man es im Hintergrund, es weht die amerikanische Fahne, denn Brown-Forman ist ein amerikanischer Konzern aus Kentucky. Ja, und heute finden wir mal raus, was BenRiach eigentlich so einzigartig macht und warum wir BenRiach in letzter Zeit so lieben. Ich stehe hier auf den alten Malting Floors von BenRiach. Die Malting Floors werden sogar noch benutzt, aber ja, nur einmal im Jahr. Und da wird das Malz hier eingeweicht und dann fängt es an, langsam sich aufzusaugen, sich vollzusaugen mit Wasser, und dann fängt das Malz an zu keimen. Und dieses Keimen muss man auf einer großen Fläche machen und dann immer ständig wenden, damit sich keine Pilze oder sonstigen Verunreinigungen hier bilden. Und dann fängt es an, das Malz, die Stärke im Malz in Zucker umzuwandeln. Das Malzkorn wird dann süß. Das merkt man, wenn man ein Getreidekorn oder ein Malzkorn probiert, dann merkt man, das Malzkorn ist um einiges weicher und um einiges süßer, weil die ganze Struktur aufgebrochen wird und dann auch Zucker entsteht daraus. Sie haben dann noch ihre eigenen Trocknungsfloors, wo dann das Malz getrocknet wird. Sie stellen aber heutzutage nur noch mit heißer Luft die Trocknung dar, und deswegen gibt es nur ungetorftes Malz. Wenn wir mal ein bisschen über die heutigen Zutaten reden, da es nur einmal im Jahr passiert, ist es ein infinitesimaler kleiner Teil, also nur 2 Wochen Produktion im Jahr reicht dieses Malz ungefähr aus. Und ansonsten wird das Malz von der Brennerei, von größeren Melzereien gekauft. Das Interessante ist aber, die Brennerei BenRiach hat 3 verschiedene Malzsorten. Sie haben einmal ungetorftes Malz, dann haben sie normal getorftes Malz und auch noch zusätzlich stark getorftes Rauchmalz. Ja, sehr interessant, und das werden wir später dann auch im Interview sehen, wie denn so ein stark getorftes Malz bei BenRiach aus einer Speyside Distillerie so schmeckt. Bisschen über die History von diesem Ort hier. Diese Malting Floors wurden früher noch viel mehr eingesetzt, als es noch keine Großmelzereien gab. Und die Nachbarbrennerei, die Longmorn-Brennerei, wurde auch gleichzeitig von diesen Malting Floors hier versorgt. Das Malz der Brennerei wird hier geschrotet in einer Porteous patentierten Malzmühle, die schon relativ alt ist. Ich gehe davon aus, dass sie wahrscheinlich ungefähr seit Anfang an hier stehen wird. Und das Schroten des Malzes ist natürlich einer der wichtigen Prozesse. Und circa 1 bis 2 Mal im Jahr steigt die Brennerei auf ein getorftes Malz um. Und das geschieht eigentlich regelmäßig Anfang des Jahres, und mit der normalen Reinigung wird dann wieder umgestellt auf ein ungetorftes Malz. Die 5,8 Tonnen Schrot werden in diesem Trichter hier gelagert und auf die alte, traditionelle Art und Weise hier unten mit diesem Rohr vermengt mit Wasser in dem Masher zusammengeknetet und dann in einem großen Schwall in die Mashtannen entleert. Ja, die Mashtannen produziert pro Waschvorgang ca. 25.000 Liter Maische, ist aus rostfreiem Stahl und hat natürlich einen Deckel, um die Energie innerhalb der Mashtannen zu halten. Die BenRiach Brennerei hat insgesamt 4 Maischvorgänge wobei sie stark darauf achtet, dass das Abkühlen und das Erwärmen des Wassers immer in einem gegenläufigen Wärmetausche passiert, sodass man viel von der Energie wieder zurückgewinnt. Und auch der dritte und vierte Maischvorgang, das Wasser wird nicht zum Fermentieren verwendet, sondern in einem separaten Tank oberhalb gelagert, um dann für den nächsten Maischvorgang wieder verwendet zu werden. Nach dem Mashing kommen wir zum Fermentationsvorgang. Die Brennerei hat 8 Washbags mit jeweils 33.000 Litern befüllt und dann haben wir oben noch ein bisschen Platz, damit wir oben den Rotor haben, der den Schaum niederschlägt, damit das Ganze nicht überkocht und wir keine größere Sauerei produzieren. Das Besondere bei BenRiach ist, sie haben eine extrem lange Fermentationsdauer. Im Durchschnitt fermentiert jedes Produkt hier 100 Stunden, was der Hefe wirklich Zeit gibt, alle Geschmäcker auszuarbeiten, auszumachen. Und nachdem die Hefe dann schon tot ist, verändert sich sogar auch nochmal das Wash oder auch Bier genannt und es bilden sich nochmal fruchtigere und intensivere Geschmäcker aus. Also das Wash liegen zu lassen, ist nochmal eine Art und Weise, wie man dem ganzen Whisky noch mehr Intensität gibt. Die Brennerei kommt irgendwo auf circa 8% Alkohol, was relativ normal ist und was dann weitergeht in den Brennraum zum Destillieren. Ich befinde mich nun im Herzstück der Brennerei mit dem Brennraum. Wir haben 2 Wash-Stills, 2 Spirit-Stills. Die Wash-Stills natürlich etwas größer und die Spirit-Stills etwas kleiner. Die Wash-Stills haben ein Volumen von ca. 20.700 Litern, aber sie werden nur befüllt bis 16.500 Litern, was so ungefähr die breiteste Stelle sein sollte. Die Spirit Stills sind etwas kleiner. Sie haben 12.000 und ein bisschen Volumen und werden nur bis 9.500 Litern befüllt. Ja, die Brennerei BenRiach ist ähnlich zur Brennerei GlenDronach. Sie haben ein System entwickelt, wo man 6 Stunden lang beide Stills betreibt und es ist eine relativ langsame Destillation. Das heißt, wir geben dem Alkohol gut Zeit, sich zu separieren und ein feines Destillat zu bilden. Wegen der langsamen Destillation, vor allem für die Wash Still, haben wir einen relativ hohen Low Wines Anteil an Alkohol mit ca. 24 bis 25% Alkohol. Kommt natürlich auf die Tagesform der Brennblase an. Nach der Spirit Still kommen wir dann auf ca. 71% im Spirits Charger, also dem Tank, in dem der Spirit gelagert wird, der dann später ins Fass abgefüllt wird. Die Steuerung der Stills mit der Temperatur ist mittlerweile schon automatisiert, aber die ganzen Messungen und den Umschalten des Vorschotts auf das Herzstück, auf den Mittelcut, das geschieht immer noch über den alten 4-Size Spirit Safe von 1975.
Die Warehouses von BenRiach sind sehr traditionell. Wir haben die gestampften Lehmböden. Hier und da gibt es manchmal ein bisschen Schotter obendrauf. Und ich bin jetzt gerade im Warehouse Nummer 13. Und das Warehouse Nummer 13 ist eines dieser Warehouses, was so ein bisschen zum Experimentieren aufgebaut wurde. Und wir sehen extrem viel Variation hier drin. Wir haben hier mal ein Masala-Fass, wir haben große Sherry-Fässer, ich habe ein paar alte Sherry-Fässer gesehen, normale Bourbon Barrels, Quarter Casks und es gibt auch noch, mir wurde erzählt, Tokai-Fässer und französische Weinfässer, ganz viel Variation. Der große Anteil an Fässern lagert natürlich in einem großen Warehouse, das Racked Warehouse ist, also mit Gerüsten, höher gestapelte Fässer. Aber das Warehouse wird dann innerhalb auch nochmal unterteilt mit dicken Mauern, um das in dann 3 Warehouses zu teilen. Und ja, das heißt, die Brennerei hat insgesamt 9 Dunnage Warehouses, 3 Racked Warehouses, ist damit doch eine etwas kleinere Brennerei. Aber die Spirits von BenRiach sind international so berühmt und so eine hohe Nachfrage gibt es, dass es auch noch ein Vetted Program gibt. Das heißt, die Brennerei BenRiach gibt ihren Malt oder ihren Spirit nach einigen Jahren oder auch frisch an einige internationale Händler, die dann aber die Voraussetzung haben, dass sie nicht BenRiach draufschreiben dürfen. Das heißt, irgendwo, wenn ihr mal international verschiedene Whiskys probiert und schmeckt, kann sein, dass in verschiedenen Blended Malts oder in verschiedenen Blended Whiskys auch ein bisschen BenRiach drin ist. Ja, BenRiach hatte mal zeitweise ein Produktionsproblem. Nach 1965 haben sie fast durchgängig produziert, außer zwischen 2002 und 2004 gab es so einen kleinen Schluckauf in der Produktion. Die Brennerei ist mal 2 Jahre stillgestanden. Das ist jetzt dann irgendwo 15 Jahre her langsam. Und das bedeutet, ja, wir hätten ein bisschen Gefahr, dass so einige unserer 20-jährigen geliebten Abfüllungen ein bisschen kritisch werden. Aber ich habe mich mit den Leuten hier unterhalten, die haben gesagt, nee, also der Stock von damals ist noch gut vorhanden und es wird keine Ausfälle bei unserem geliebten BenRiach 20 Jahre Blue Label geben. Freut mich natürlich, das zu hören. Ja, und jetzt geht es nochmal weiter mit einem kleinen Interview.
So, das war's jetzt mit der Produktion und jetzt geht's weiter mit einem Interview, aber natürlich wieder auf Englisch. So, I'm sitting here with Colin Purcell. You've been 10 years with BenRiach now and you are the warehouse manager here.
Yeah, pretty much.
Thank you very much for having us here.
No problem at all.
Lovely distillery and definitely a lovely warehouse.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, we pride ourselves obviously on our dunnage warehousing. It does have an extensive collection of interesting casks.
Yeah, the variation in them, that warehouse you just shown me, that is just amazing. Okay. It's just very nice where you got all these casks from. This is just amazing to me. Okay, so what are we having today?
Today we're going to be looking at some of the core range of BenRiach. We're going to start off with the 10-year-old standard. Then we're going to progress on to the slightly more sophisticated 21-year-old standard, and then to keep everyone interested, we'll give you a little introduction into our peated range with our 10-year-old curiosities.
Okay, interesting. So 10-year-old, is that 43%?
Yep.
Nice. So one of your bottlings when you first arrived at the company, or castings?
Well, yeah, the whiskies that are now going into the 10-year-old will be rather interestingly casks that I filled myself. So that's quite good to see the the actual generation. Because in a lot of ways when you're working in warehousing, you're only like a temporary custodian of what's there. But to have seen something that you filled yourself, be vatted together for a bottling is quite satisfying.
Yeah, you have to be really consistent and work along with the company to see. Oh, I know that cask I filled.
Yeah, that's it. The 10-year-old is an excellent example of a very pure and standard Speyside style.
It's really fruity. You got a bit of pears in there.
Yeah, the BenRiach obviously has that great malt characteristic. The sweetness at its core, and at 10 years old, it's exhibiting a lot of the sort of like orchard fruits that you would be expecting, as you say, pears and apples, a little bit of citrus. That slightly zestier sort of style.
Yeah, definitely. That zesty, definitely, and with the sweetness in the background.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the perfect sort of balance in BenRiach. You're getting that sweetness from the malt and the the fruits coming through from the maturation. You're also getting that lovely shot of vanilla that you're getting out of the bourbon cask. So you're getting a very nice balance.
Oh, it's still a light one, intriguing one.
Yeah, it's a.
Nice.
It's a light to medium weight sort of like style.
So, Slanger.
It's a very soft, delicate whiskey, but it does still tend to have a great length on the palate.
And it's in your mouthfeel, it's soft and
very.
almost a bit oily. A little bit.
You're getting that lovely sweetness up front, but then at the end you're getting that lovely little bit of spice that you're just getting out of the wood as well, you know.
Yeah. When you swallow it, you get the whole fruits, but now in the aftertaste there comes that little bit of spiciness,
Yeah.
a little bit of oak coming through.
Yeah, that's what you want, that little bit of spice from the oak.
But a nice fresh entry whiskey.
Absolutely.
Just as I like it. Yeah. So as a warehouse manager, you do have kind of different mash bills. You do have like unpeated version, a peated version, and now you do have a heavily peated version. So is that hard to manage?
It's not terribly hard to manage because obviously we know what we've filled, and then obviously we have documentation to keep us right. But I mean, a lot of the time you'll actually know a lot of the casks yourself. You know, like having filled them, you're familiar. And a lot of the time, if you haven't actually filled the casks, in my own particular aspect, to the original wood, there's a good chance that you'll have vatted together some of the whiskies for re-racking. You know, like because we do quite a lot of work with re-racking at BenRiach. You know, we re-rack for the likes of the 10-year-old. There'll be a small amount of that that's come from being re-racked into sherry. You know, a balance between Oloroso and kind of like Pedro Jimenez. There'll also be a small amount of it that will have been re-racked into fresh virgin wood. You know, so where you get that sort of extra vanilla toast. You know, and you almost get that creamy creme brulee kind of coming through.
So it's got a bit of a even harder.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing. It's like it's bringing out that extra spice, you know.
Yeah, the extra caramel wood and vanilla going on. So 21-year-olds, is that one of the re-racks then?
Yeah, this will involve, you know, your standard version of BenRiach, whereby it's been kept in bourbon cask. But also to make this a far more interesting flavour profile, there's work that's been done where there have been finishing work done in sherry. But to take it on to another level from the 10-year-old, the 21-year-old also has kind of like a work where it has been re-racked into wine casks. And I think that adds to the sophistication of the palate. You know, it is incredibly good. The wine re-racking adds a really lovely dry sweetness and also extra complexity on the nose.
Oh, yeah.
You get that sweetness. It's a different kind of sweetness. It's a more sophisticated sweetness.
Somehow it's still pretty light for a 20-year-old, but it's it's complex.
It's complex, but on the palate it is extremely smooth, and the length is incredible. But as I say, that introduction, a little subtle introduction of that wine finish just adds an extra dimension, I think.
It's a little bit of grapey berries, but it's still very smooth, velvety.
It's incredibly smooth, and also at this sort of point, BenRiach is going from that fresher orchard fruits with the zestiness, and it's now developing into that tropical fruits where you're starting to get your mangoes and your bananas, you know, coming through. You're just getting that much more rich sort of feel of the fruit.
Oh, I love it.
It's incredibly good. It is really, really good. I mean, this is your classic, you know, after you've had your supper, sitting down next to the fire, you know, like and just relaxing for the evening with this.
Okay, so slange
well. The softness of the mouthfeel is incredible, and it's immensely drinkable.
It's a nice balance between bitter sweetness, flowers, real sweetness, and it's complex, and even have a little bit of phenolic aftertaste? I'm not quite sure what that is.
It's got that extra richness coming through from the wine, but the wine finish tends to add that slightly drier kind of edge that's kind of like coming through.
Yeah, no, we'll know what you mean with the dry edge. With the second sip,
Yeah.
I really got out the 10-year-old, and now, and now with the aftertaste, we do have a dry.
It has
It's a dry wine, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You're getting that coming through. But then it also leads to that incredible palate length. You know, it stays on your tongue for a long, long time, but without being in any way intrusive. You know, it's just so well balanced. It's kind of the woods and the finishes have all harmonised. And you're getting obviously a beautifully mature, you know, whiskey at 21 years old. You know, BenRiach is really, really coming into its own. You know. I mean, obviously, the 10-year-old is a lovely, fresh whiskey, you know, like and a whiskey you could drink every day. But I think the 21-year-old is it's kind of like you're keeping it for a slightly more special occasion.
Yeah, that's definitely not your everyday dram.
No,
it's definitely it's a real complex one.
This is when like you know, old friends have come round to visit, you know, like and you're sitting down and relaxing. And
that's a company whiskey.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love it. I really love it. So the BenRiach had its own maltings.
Yes.
And the peated has that always been with BenRiach, or how's the history with BenRiach with the different
BenRiach are considered something of a maverick distillery in Speyside, given that they were the first distillery, I believe, to do peated style, and we have peated stocks going all the way back to 1972. And you know, some people sort of dispute the fact that, you know, BenRiach were doing peated as long as that. Some people are trying to say it's only since the 90s, but you know, I can give indisputable evidence of the fact that my mother and father used to stay at number 1 BenRiach cottages just down there, and back in the 70s they said that, you know, when the malt floor was working peat, you could smell it down there, you know, like you know, so it definitely goes back to the kind of early 70s.
So that's cool that you have some old peated whiskey and some history with the whiskey. I love it. So the 10-year-old Curiositas, is that peated or heavily peated?
It's peated, but it's interesting from the point of view that it keeps a certain level of freshness in the fact that not all of the whiskies that go into it are peated. There's still some of the kind of whiskies that go into it that are just standard. So I think that adds a lovely freshness to it, you know, in the same way as the 10-year-old standard is quite fresh. The Curiositas is really interesting from the point of view that the peated that goes into it is heavily peated, but there's a beautiful balance of freshness and sweetness from the kind of like the standard bourbon stuff that goes into it. I think this is actually, you know, pretty much the best value kind of like whiskey that we make, because it has such a complex makeup, you know, and it's giving you that incredibly heavily peated style that you would be expecting, you know, from an Islay malt, you know. So it's got all of that massive peat, you know, like you're at a fireside, you know. You've almost got lumps of peat lying about you, you know. It's like so it's incredibly peaty on the nose, but you've still got that freshness and the sweetness coming through from the kind of standard bourbon, you know, aged style. But then when you come to the kind of like the actual tasting of it, you get that immediate peat bomb hit. But because BenRiach, the water from BenRiach is such a pure mineral water source, the finish is incredibly clean and incredibly crisp, you know, unlike some Islay malts whereby the water is actually affected by the peat also, you end up with a much heavier finish. So with this you're getting all of that peat power, but you're getting a much fresher, cleaner finish.
Okay, I'm really excited. So I do get definitely peat smoke, definitely. That's the dominant note here. But with a little citric note.
Yeah, you're getting that.
It sounds strange, but a little bit of a sea note as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
It's strange because we're not close to the sea, are we?
We're not.
Yeah, it's still in there.
There's a slight phenolic character, but nothing like you'd be expecting from some of the kind of like
Yeah,
Islays.
It's subtle phenolic character,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, maybe I'm confusing that phenolic character with the sea.
Well, maybe it's potential.
But I love it. I love it. It's fresh, fresh smoke. I don't know how to explain fresh smoke, but
Yeah, but this always reminds me of like campfires and that. You're just getting that beautiful smell, and you're kind of here, I would say, at the right time of the year, because I, for some reason, associate wanting to drink peated whiskey with the winter season. There's times when obviously when there's snow on the ground and that, and a little sip of kind of like peated whiskey, must remind some part of your soul of the kind of the idea of the campfire and that, and you're getting that warmth coming through,
definitely. Nice, Slanger.
So you've got that initial peat bomb hitting you as soon as you kind of like you swallow, and then you're getting that mid section where it is still, quite a chewy kind of piece of peat there, but then as it rounds towards the end, you're getting the sweetness coming through from the kind of like the standard bourbon, so you're getting some of that notes that you had on the 10-year-old standard coming at the tail end. But you're still getting that kind of like that peat feeling all the way through.
It definitely reminds me a bit of that 10-year-old, the normal one. But yeah, the peat is dominant here.
It's massively peated. And it's actually, it looks quite, quite mellow when you look at the colour, but then you get that massive kind of blast, of peat, it's like...
It's more fresh, less sweet than the normal one.
That's
It's strange for peaty whiskey to be fresh.
Yeah, that's why I find the Curiosity is such a great whiskey and such great value, because the complexity of the makeup, and the flavour profiles, are incredible for just a 10-year-old whiskey,
Nice. I really like it. So yeah, the BenRiach brand has quite a big product range, and so how is that going to be affected in the future? Are we going to see more even, or?
I think people who are familiar with BenRiach from when BenRiach were an independent under Billy Walker, we did have an incredible amount of products on the market at the same time, to the point whereby I think some people were thinking it was somewhat bewildering for the customer. So under Brown Forman, they've rationalised the kind of like the lineup a little bit, so that now the core range will consist of the 10-year-old standard, the 21-year-old standard, the 10-year-old Curiositas peated, the 21-year-old Temporis peated, and we've reintroduced the 12-year-old sherry finish because it was so incredibly popular, with a slight tweak here and there, on the original format. We have also the non-age statement Heart of Speyside, as the introductory level, and there will also be annual kind of like selections of cask strength, single cask bottlings.
Oh, you're going to continue that?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. It's a bit of a, if you have such of a brand, it's a bit of a hassle to differentiate between the malt heads and the beginners.
Yeah.
Beginners are just a bit too overwhelmed. With what should I try?
It can be a little bit.
But the malt heads just love the difference in the palate, so they can really get into the brand and find out what kind of special things you're going on with your.
We're still
warehouse.
working on quite a lot of different, re-racking programs and that. So there is potential in the future for other things, and also the single cask bottlings will be a great way of keeping up with the kind of like somewhat unusual ones like the marsalas and the kind of like muscatels, you know, the rum finishes, all these ones, as you say, that the malt heads can really get into, you know, like, but without, you know, perhaps kind of like, you know, overwhelming the kind of market with perhaps too many as part of the standard range.
Okay, so really nice. I love it. I love it. Great portfolio you got here. So thank you very much for the interviews. Thank you very much for showing us around. And
thank you very much for coming to BenRiach, and you know, like anyone who's a fan and is willing to share, you know, so their knowledge and their kind of experience of BenRiach is always welcome here. You know?
Okay, yeah. So thank you very much for watching this video. If you found this video interesting and you have friends who also like whiskey, then please feel free to share this video with your friends. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.